VR League Onward Invitational brought to you by Intel. First map was Suburbia and it's gone to Globochem. Bowie and Radar with me here, looking forward to map 2, because what we're going to have in front of us now, Quarantine. You were saying to me, Radar, Quarantine is a map that Globochem are strong on.
Very strong.
And at SMC, like upsetting stronger teams on.
On this map specifically.
Yeah.
But it's not a team that people would consider them strong on. It's just one they're really good at upsetting people on. People don't see it coming.
Yeah.
And they don't expect it because a lot of times SMC lose it. But it's against the big teams, they seem to pull something out on this map specifically.
So that's perfect then. We've got a potential upset written for us, which is something we can look forward to. But SMC, in this double elimination bracket, they win this and they'll go through to the winners. If they win this, they'll have to win another map before they can go to the winners bracket. If they lose this thing now, 2-0 to Globochem, they're not done and dusted here. They get a chance to fight back through the losers bracket. Double elimination tournament. Lose once, you got to fight your way in. Lose twice, you're done here. Globochem, they'll know that maybe SMC, if they did think that was a small stepping stone on their way to winning this thing, don't write them off quite so easily based on that first map.
Oh, absolutely. And again, we can't stress Captain Soda, this unknown demon from the first one.
I think, obviously, we know that SMC can, like, when they get momentum, they can run away with it, and I think that's kind of what they're maybe hoping to do. You know, trying to wrestle control back from Globochem is going to be their first job here.
Yeah.
And especially when they know that, you know, Globochem are strong on this map, they need to kind of get that control and run with it.
That right there, that's Mr. Beefy with his arms crossed in front of him, and that's Captain Soda's biggest fan. He thoroughly enjoyed that 4K by Soda. Captain Soda's the one at the back right-hand corner of things there. He's our new boy, making himself known to Globochem on the left-hand side of the stage.
Do you know what I think is brilliant about what we're seeing right here, right now, is that all of these guys are used to doing this at home, right? So you put on virtual reality. It's not like other esports where you see the mouse and keyboard and you see the world around you. You're putting on these headsets and you are in virtual reality, which they associate with their happy place, their safe place. It's got to be disconcerting for them to know that outside of that, there's cameras on them, there's the heat, the competition. You know, this is a different environment for them.
But you know what? I've worked on pretty much every esport there is at some way or other in some country or other, and I've seen pro players at the top end crumble in a LAN environment because it's not their home and it's not where they played, you know, 99.9% of their games. For these guys, there are lights and cameras and heat, and the wires aren't perhaps where they would like to do them. Some of the guys have got ceiling tethers, some of them have got retractable systems, they were telling me, so as they move around, the wires can go with them or retract out of the way. Nice. It's not that setup, but when you put that headset on, everything else just leaves, doesn't it?
Back in your happy place. I'm in quarantine right now. Under fire from Globochem.
Seeing and feeling the same environment that you're used to, and I think that can do a great deal at kind of like calming those tournament or LAN nerves.
So one interesting thing about this map with Globochem, as you've seen in the previous maps and you've seen before, is that on Quarantine, they have such great positioning. You're going to see in on Suburbia, because it's a small map, we saw much quicker plays.
The confrontations were actually like right upon us at the start of the rounds.
You won't see this in Quarantine. You might see early pickoffs, long distance, 1, maybe 2 people dying maximum, but you're going to see real slow push-ups, and you're going to see a lot more tactical play, especially from Globochem, and it's a very different map. And a very different play style.
And SMC like upsetting teams on it. So let's see if they can do it. Can we get this thing to 1-1 and go to a third map, which will be Bizarre? Or is Quarantine going to be where Globochem walk into the winners bracket? Let's go back to Pansy and Nightfire and get some more Onward for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And what a tantalizing prospect we now have coming into a completely different map, a different play style coming in, and already pressure from the underdogs towards the, you know, tip to be champions.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking offline. I think SMC Tactical can really run with this momentum. It's not a win, but it's probably more than they expected against a team like Globochem. So they're probably feeling pretty confident about being able to pick some rounds off from these guys.
You'd hope so. Coming into this, the mentality, the first map, the first couple of rounds, it's, you know, settling in, shaking off the nerves, trying to get that kind of, I guess, that mentality in the right place. Like, guys, you know, once we put that headset on, we're just back in game. It's another day, you know, it's another day in the office. Don't worry about it. But you got the first map jitters out the way, and SMC proved that they can certainly compete. There's no disputing it. They have some brilliant talent. I was surprised by that individual play coming out from a couple of them has been exceptional.
Yeah, I was not ready for Captain Soda to get a 4-man pick on a flank.
No way.
That's going to definitely play in SMC's advantage because Globochem is such a studied team. They're so aware of everything that all these other squads are doing. They just in their interview, their pregame, they know Mob Squad. They know the beginners. They didn't really touch on SMC Tactical. Maybe that's a problem.
Yeah, maybe. This is the thing. So when we were outside, I was talking to some of the other players. They were just, getting some fresh air because it's pretty warm. But you could see beginners out there looking over tape. They're already watching replays. They're looking at anything that's going on because they're getting themselves ready. But with 3 seconds left, we're almost ready to get this one started back up. Currently sits favorably towards the champions that we know, Globochem, but SMC brought a big matchup to them. Surprised a couple of players, and yeah, look at the scale of this map in comparison to the one we just saw.
Yeah, it is a touch larger, but we actually have a very fast spawn from Globochem. They're going to be right on top of SMC Tactical. This is not going to be a slow round like we were expecting. This spawn is one of the close ones. Basically, how spawns work in this game is objectives have 2 potential spawns. If you can identify early where a team is, then you know that they spawned over here. That gives you an advantage. Okay, maybe they did a 2-3 split. Maybe they ran 5 this way. Kind of gives you an idea. Gives you information. You don't necessarily have that with this objective. They haven't seen anything yet. They have no information. SMC Tactical has no idea where Globochem is. They're playing this really slow.
I actually kind of like Globochem throwing off the pacing almost in a way. If you just rush in, they 100% know that everyone's here. This is the spawn point. You hit that pace a little slower. In their heads, they don't know if you had that spawn. Now with the contact coming in, a couple of shots coming through, maybe suppressing or not, maybe just kind of predictive fire, that kind of keeping people in check. You see a nade or a smoke going up there as well. A couple of these players, smoking out the crosses, applying pressure. The push-up comes in as well. We're seeing Auto getting quite far up. Not necessarily on his own. His team is up behind, but he's kind of the spear tip here. And great pickup to begin with. Untraded, unpressured. That's a huge strike. But there's Mr. Beefy.
Yeah, he finally shows up. He was telling me earlier he's upset he's been going down consistently at the start of the round. He's in a very good spot here to catch 2. Doesn't get it, and he gets tagged.
I kind of felt that could have been his. He was kind of predicting the right next bit of pressure to come in, but Globochem now building off the back of this pressure. They've already taken down 4 members of SMC, so only 1 man stands.
Yeah, he's on that rooftop there, you can see, and that's a pretty favorable position. But if these guys drop back, if they go up north like they are right now, they have potential to get to that objective without Captain Soda seeing it at all. He is their wildcard guy. He now sees that nobody is left on his team, and he's running to objective and instantly rotating. Toast is on the objective right now. He's putting in the code. Captain doesn't know. But he goes down before Toast can put it in.
You're almost hoping then at that point someone's making the call, do not kill him, just wait it out for a second, let me get that plan or the uplink going.
And Globochem is so practiced that they have click codes for this. When you get close to the objective, you usually go 1, 2, a lot of teams go 1, 2, 3. That means, okay, we're on objective, we don't want to get a kill. We want to actually suppress.
We want those 2 points.
Yeah, so what they should have done there is suppressed him, kept him sitting behind the truck, not pushing forward, and that could have been a nice 2-0 start for Globochem.
But this environment, I think you're seeing players like, okay, I just need to get this done, right?
Yeah.
I think it's those couple of little nuances that you'd see them normally being really calm, really collected, maybe being pressured here. So again, that's quite interesting to see. That could have been a nice 2-0 lead there.
Yeah, it really could have been. And to kind of add on that, they might not have had all the comms. They might not have known they had 4 down already.
No, absolutely.
And so you're absolutely right. You have to play safe. You're going to take an easy win instead of trying to go for something a little bit more risky.
And again, the UI we're seeing here, so you can see how many players are alive at the top. Now that's only for us. There's very little in game. This is very much, you get your gun, you get maybe your scope on the top of it, you get maybe a hollow, a red dot, a 4 or something like that. But beyond that, that's pretty much it. You can obviously pull out the kind of tablet on your back, but you are playing without information that we see. So they don't know unless they are completely up on comms and they count the trading going back and forth, because there's no kill feed like we have in other games. It's not like other FPS games or military simulators for that matter. So the switch up comes in. Very different environment now, but Globochem do lead 1-0.
And here we get that second spawn for Globo. They're over on that, what we call crater spawn point. You see on the map, big crater over there in the northeast. A lot of suppressive fire towards the roof. And actually, SMC Tactical already down 1 and needs a res. And that's not what you want on Volk. Well, sorry, SMC Tactical is pushing. Down 1. Ooh, a nice trade there to catch one on the roof. They can push this now. They have a lot of options. They can cross the street because you know you have roof down, and that's exactly what Beefy is going to do. He's feeling confident with that move. And as soon as you get picks like this, it opens up all sorts of different options for you as a pushing team. And it also forces responses as a defending team.
This is great ground covered from Beefy here. You can see him on the screen as well. Head on a swivel, trying to keep tabs on anyone else. He's gaining so much ground. This is huge information being played across as well. Got to be careful of that roof still. Potential for there to be other players up there. It's not just a one-man spot. and especially now that revive came through. Globochem have all members alive again, but Beefy, what a play from this man. So far, so aggressive, and I'm wondering if Thunder would hear this.
No, Thunder wouldn't expect this. He doesn't think Beefy's here. He thinks he has his teammates on the roof there covering that street, and it just didn't happen because the res was actually coming out. So now it's back to a 5v5 all around.
Oh, Beefy, what a play from this guy. He makes room for himself. He gets that brilliant pick towards the roof, follows it up with the play. I am thoroughly impressed with what he's done so far.
Yeah, that was a really nice aggressive push from him on that side, and we're going to run into some action up here. Pants here's Landon. Landon should have an idea that there's some enemies up here on the roof, so maybe you'll see a frag come out to the roof. And you actually see a lot of, with frag grenades, air bursts. And they like to cook the nades and have them explode in the air. Eliminates any potential of things on the ground blocking the explosive. And also has a direct line of sight to the head.
Ooh, this is... Landon Jordan's kind of trying to get past and almost pressure the roof to try and play back in, but doesn't win out. That could have been Pants turning around, or maybe Auto, possibly. I'm pretty sure that was one of the players on the roof. I'm not 100% sure, but this is still 4 players standing for SMC, and they've really pressured Globochem to be on the back foot.
Yeah, and they're all opting for a bit of a slower route. They're all down there on that south side. You don't really have anyone coming hard north, which is a typical strategy. You can get a guy really far north, have him come in from the backside, and get those guys over by that red shed on the north side of the map. This is really aggressive from Pants. This is something you typically see out of this guy. He will get on Volk and decide to push you. He'll flank you. You have to be ready for it as a member of SMC Tactical. Another going down. Ooh, there's the pick.
Reflex on this guy. One of the players who doesn't use the kind of pre-made weapons that you can kind of work around. He's got some reflexes, and I don't blame him for going for it if it works for him. Here's a 3v2. Currently, SMC are trailing.
Mixologist, the nade out. Not quite far enough. The trades are down, and SMC 1v3. I think they have one member very far south. It's going to be a bit of a slow push for him across that south side of the map. He has plenty of time, 2 minutes 30. He has no resible options. This is going to be tough for him. He's going to have to pull something out of his hat, a little bag of tricks maybe.
We'll see what he can do. Mixologist holding pretty tight angle.
Yeah,
not giving much away.
He doesn't know that guy's down there. He's still anticipating an enemy there, sitting, camping, waiting to push. And it kind of nullifies Mixologist there because he's not covering any other angles. He's very focused on that hill and finally getting pushed by his teammate. He should have some semblance of who's over there.
Now. Yeah, should free him up to kind of maybe find a new angle and work out where else he can maybe try and fill in the gaps, which is what he's doing. Nice play coming out from Globochem, not resting on their laurels here. We do see the remaining member of SMC, Honey.
This is a very good offensive. I mean, a nice job from SMC Tactical to get a couple picks here on Marsoc. And actually, if Huni can do this, I don't think Pants is ready for Huni to be here. As long as Huni doesn't get up and sprint or get too active, Pants will not know. And Huni's going to play this very slow. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Pants with the snap reflexes gets the pick. And yeah, that's one of the guys that's not using a mount. He uses the freedom, I suppose you could say, to lift up those guns and snap onto those heads quick.
Yeah, and you can see it in the way he plays. You know, there's benefits and negatives to both. It is complete personal preference at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you want consistency. You want that kind of, you know, no matter what, you're always feeling solid in what you're doing. They seem like the right option to go for. But if you're feeling that confidence, if you're feeling like you can depend on yourself and not feel those nerves, then why not play like Pants?
Yeah, and what you'll see from most guys that prefer long-range shooting, they'll opt for one of those mounts.
I tried to use it 4 times. I was like, no, I can't see anything.
Yeah, it's something you actually 4 times is the ACOGs and 4 times is 12 time scopes. Something
Anything
you have to get used to.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's not your typical hit the right click and I'll get my sight. I'll be perfectly sighted. You really have to almost know how to shoot a gun.
Yeah.
And know how to look down a sight effectively so that you can get, because there's parallax and all sorts of different things. Because it's a mil sim, it's very much about simulating the real experience, and so you get some things like that. It's really good fun. Genuinely, if you guys do like VR at home, if it's something that you like, if you like military simulators, whatever it is, you should definitely give this game a go. I was thoroughly impressed and kind of surprised how immersive it felt and how good it felt. I mean, very surprising. But speaking of surprising, I kind of want to see a little bit more from SMC on this one. They've been playing well. They've been doing a lot of the right things, but you need that round on the board. Yeah, Globochem is a team that will run away with things. If SMC Tactical can't get this point as Volk, it's not going to be looking good for them going in as offensively against Globochem in a 3-0 disadvantage. So they're definitely feeling the pressure here. They do want this win right. They need this win. This is a must-win for SMC Tactical. And they actually have a pretty decent objective to defend. There's all sorts of different angles you can hold that are favorable to Volk, in my opinion, in that you can get into some dark alleyways, some dark corners, use your color of your uniform to your advantage.
See how they approach us. Let's see what they're saying.
What is going on here? Globochem taking their time. They want to kind of maybe fake out the spawn here. The smoke's coming out. They're going to try and cross. So this is information. SMC Tactical now knows they spawn southeast, and they should rotate and act accordingly unless nobody spots them. Captain Soda not covering that street. I don't think anybody's seeing this cross right now. This is free for Globochem, and that's huge. To be able to cross from southeast over to this position, you're attacking from a completely different angle that most teams aren't ready for. Most teams are defending from the south or a hard north approach. They're not ready to come up the middle like this.
You can hear the comms. Smoke on the street.
You got one. Someone throw one towards the cement truck. In between this one and the cement truck.
I got it. I'm guessing we're gonna have company roof. There we go.
Yeah. Wait. Hold up.
Let's go.
Yeah, go. Someone go. Here, I'll go.
Airplane nose, courtyard.
All right, comms have been made, contact's been made. The cross is coming through, so Globochem's plan has been spotted out, but you could hear the comms and the precision and what they want to be doing. The communication is on point here.
Yeah, they know exactly what they're looking for. You could hear the call out, let's expect some company roof. Let's send a guy out early so that we can maybe potentially find out information, get information on where these enemies are, where they're going to shoot us from.
So we're just finding a bit of cover.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice spot. You can use these cement trucks. You can peek through all these little tight angles, and that's really important, especially for VR, because I feel like it's hard to thread the needle. It really requires a lot of skill, and that's something that we haven't really touched on. This game is a huge skill-based game.
I guess we've been talking bigger picture because it's so exciting to talk about the tactical element, but even just the mechanical element. I mean, it's not easy the way they're playing this out, and some of these players have already shown so much ability and skill. Yeah,
and to touch on that mechanical element, the grenades are not something that are guaranteed. You can't get your angle, know that if I throw it over this roof at this degree, it's going to go right here. It's all on you to throw that grenade effectively with your own arm and get it right to where you need it to be. And this is that north approach I was talking about earlier that SMC Tactical opted not to go with. It gives you a lot of options.
It's a nice split coming out from Globochem. A lot of pressure is going to be put onto a lot of angles. It's going to be very hard for SMC to hold this down, but they seem okay for now. They've held off contact for quite some time. It's still 5 players standing on either side. We're seeing a little bit more patience coming out from the attacking side, which is Globochem in the blue. So they're working their way forward, but they're taking a lot of their time here. They're sweeping very effectively and very, I guess, cleanly. If you look at it, they're almost holding the line as they work their way forward. Yeah, a lot of smokes utilized to get to cross streets. It's a trade-off. You have to decide, do I want this smoke later to get a cap, or do I want to use it now to get me safely across the street? Maybe no one shoots me, maybe I do. How do I make my decision? It's all, it's a lot of mental game. And I think that's what makes this Onward in particular such a fun esport to watch. Oh, this is interesting. Look at the trade-up in positioning. Last time, of course, we saw that the defending side as such had the roof position and they were kind of working off the back of it. Now look at the ground being gained here. This could be massive. It does seem as though SMC are aware this is, a huge problem. Punke better turn around and be careful here because there's fire coming in from Mr. Beefy. He's got a bit of contact, but I'm wondering if he's giving, not the wrong idea, but I'm hoping they've all got the right angles and the communication is on point because you can see now Globochem crouching it down, taking these angles very, very seriously. Yeah, and Beefy was in one of those angles I was talking about earlier that I think is advantageous for Volk. It's hard to spot someone in a dark uniform in a dark stairwell, and well, maybe he got picked by Otto there. Another down for SMC Tactical, not Resable. It's been a huge northern swing coming out from Globochem, meticulously working their way forward. And this is what Globochem does. They will wait. They're going to wait probably till about a minute 30. Minute 15 until smokes start coming out. They're going to go for that cap. They have a FAPE. They're all in position. They have 5 alive, and they'll converge all at the same time. It's not going to be a frenzy, if you will. Oh, they've got 1 minute and 30, so they do need to get themselves moving here. SMC holding the back lines, very tight-knit towards the objective site, that uplink. And we'll see what they can get going. Auto working his way forward. Peeking the tiniest of angles, looking for any potential. I think he was looking roughly towards where Beefy was. Again, that small angle he was working off of. I wonder if he's still up there. It could be someone else actually in the position. It might be the one further on that I was seeing that worked out. It is indeed. It's Toast who's the further forward now. But again, they're running a little low on time to a degree. They're going to have to be very, very quick on this hit.
Yeah, this actually has been a little too long. They have to get past this defense and then past another street, smoke the objective. I don't know. Maybe they're not going for the cap. Or the pressure's on and they're not paying attention to time. I'm not sure, but the smokes are going to start coming. I think they've saved some frags. I don't know. Cap's going to have to hold down the line.
2 players spotted, maybe 3. The calls can be made. They know roughly now where Globochem are coming from. 30 seconds to hold on to this. SMC need to hold the line here. The push comes through. Globochem applying the pressure. Shots coming out, and they are in trouble here. Only one man really stands for Globochem. They left this too little too late, and SMC, they are down to 1 man, of course, but with 19 seconds, can he defend this?
Yeah, I don't know if that res was a good idea. He should have gone towards that objective. Landon hiding very tightly. He does not want to get spotted. Otto's pushing quickly. 10 seconds left. Landon's not looking over. He hears Mix now. Oh, he sees Otto. Shots out. He tags Otto. 5 seconds left. Mix has to push around this corner to get Landon. He doesn't know he's there. Trying to cap and Landon saves it for Globochem.
That 2v1 was perfect. What a punishing moment for Globochem, and what a moment as well for the other side. The underdogs coming in and holding your nerve in that situation. Wow.
That's one of those panic moments on Volk that gets your blood absolutely pumping. The adrenaline, your hands shaking, you forget about where you are and you're just in that moment. Landon played that perfectly. That's exactly what you want to do. If you're close on time, you want to force it. You're going to hide yourself into a corner, make sure no one can get that pick on you. And managing to snag 2 for a must win. And now they might be able to get a swing. If they can get a cap here, 3-2, they're looking good. They're going into Volk defending. They could take over this series.
Honestly, and I'd be frustrated if I'm Globochem and that round went the way it did. You ran low on time. Okay, that's unfortunate and that's annoying.
Yeah.
But you get picked up in a 2v1 that you don't trade into. These are the small things that can really build up against you as a team. And if you're thinking, all right, we're the favorites, we shouldn't be losing rounds like that. We shouldn't be getting punished like that. We should be a little bit better. But SMC, they're pushing them. This is really good stuff. A nice 2-1. I was worried that saw the 2-0, and I was like, okay, this is looking like 3. This looks like, okay, we're getting that Globochem style going. But no, this is still very much up in the air.
Yeah, and Captain Soda has been playing very well for this team. He's getting the picks that, getting trades, getting picks early, winning rounds in Suburbia. He's definitely a very effective wild card. I think you can see a little mount repair there.
Bit of adjustment. Why not? You don't want things to be going wrong at this point. You want to, get everything right, feel comfortable.
I think he broke his strap, actually.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm seeing admins to the stage.
Absolutely.
Hopefully all's good and he doesn't get too caught out by this.
One thing to kind of note, if you're taking a look at the stage, we have all these sensors protruding out. We are on a 4-sensor setup for Oculus here for every single player, so they have full coverage. No occlusion, and you need it for this game. You do not want your gun bouncing around when you're about to hit somebody. It's very frustrating. So,
yeah, and just a side note as well, if you are wondering, these guys obviously are very close to each other. This is a thing, and you hear the communication we heard in the last round. The headsets they're wearing, they are essentially the helicopter pilot headsets. If you've ever seen that or heard of it, they are very hard to hear anything through. So, again, they should be fine. You shouldn't be able to hear anyone else's comms. This is what people, when we do stadium shows, they wear these headsets and you can't hear a thing. So these guys are in good hands with that. So do not worry about that side of the integrity. These guys were, as soon as they practiced, like, yeah, we can hear everything. So we're like, all right, let's make sure that's not the case. You want to keep these players happy and comfortable. And I also like the difference of shoe on, shoe off approach. It's like the.
Here's one thing you won't see is players wearing pants. Nobody has pants on. Everyone's in shorts.
It's the shorts.
They're all very sweaty. To have those headphones are fantastic, but they get hot as well.
Oh,
so you're moving around.
Warm.
You have a hot headset on your head.
Yep.
I saw those guys at break, and they were dabbing down. They're pretty moist.
Bless them. But great work so far. If you're just joining in, it is currently 2-1. The first map did go towards, I guess, more favored side. If you're a fan of this, it was Globochem. However, you're getting the early round calls coming out from Globochem. Bit of a 3-2 split to start with. Might even be kind of a 2-2-1, as Auto looks like he's kind of holding ground in the middle.
Yeah, and we have the same crater spawn for SMC Tactical. They're up on that north side. And it doesn't look like they're going to have anybody crossing streets. They're going to utilize this spawn point, which actually was different from what Globochem had. And they're going to come very fast up this north side. They're going to do the same strategy, but a lot faster. They're going to try and capture this north side, get that rooftop angle, because frankly, it works. You know, that's why these teams are pushing for that roof.
And with such an electric end to that round, I kind of forget how good Beefy's been so far. That huge room he gained in you know, a couple of rounds ago. I'm hoping he does something like that again. That'd be brilliant to watch. But yeah, this is quite assertive from SMC, maybe feeling a little bit more kind of pumped up after that last round. Yeah,
Soda looking straight at an enemy. People have general ideas of where someone is, and Beefy tagging another.
That's incredible work from him.
That center pick is massive now. Again, opening up a push option for his team. They can come down this middle side and save their smokes. They don't need to use them now to get up to that middle building. Once they take control of that, they have so many options. And if they can get 2 in there, this could be trouble. But this is actually a really interesting spot from Pants. He, if he decides that he wants to peek up, he has a potential two kills right here.
See how he plays this one out himself, using that little dip, the little defilade, tucking himself in.
Yeah, very common position as well. There are definitely meta positions at this point in the game. It's not a new game. It's been out for 2 years almost. You have these guys with thousands of hours in the game. They all know where spots are. Landon sending some suppressive fire out towards the roof so that his teammates can move up with smokes.
Nice coordination so far as well. Beefy's been brilliant at finding these small picks that have opened up huge amounts, but he does get found in the end.
Yikes.
That's a 4v4 now.
Yeah, it's going to shut down that central push a little bit. They have to get rid of Toast there. I don't think that he was expecting Toast to as well be in that building. He had the pick on the second floor. He's feeling confident pushing that center building, and just kind of got caught out. You can see Pants not liking that position either. These guys rotate. This is what Globochem's doing. They've just lost 1. So now they need to fill the gaps. They need to fill the angles. They're going to send Pants back to cover that spot and make sure that there's no extra openings.
Yeah, it's very easy to get exploited when you are that kind of man on your own. It almost feels like you want to, because then maybe you could try and turn the tide, but in a game like this, it's not the same as, you know, any other FPS or melee sim you've played. This is very unique, and being able to kind of have that coordination, ensuring that you keep that objective under wraps is incredibly important. You're going to be seeing them move up again from SMC, working their way slightly further forward, little by little. They've not rested on their laurels here. This is not slow at all. They've got a lot of ground gain. They're very much close by now.
They're essentially in the same position that Globochem was with a minute left, and they have 3. So they definitely have all the time in the world to make this push. They have guys nicely spread, one south, 1 middle, 2 north. They're going to come around with that west defilade we were talking about earlier, utilize that for cover. Try and get some smokes close to objective and go for that cap, which would be massive if they can get this here for SMC.
See, plays coming out, trying to find anyone out of place. Any pixel that doesn't look right to them, but cross being made. A couple of shots coming through.
It's always fun to take a look at the player cam here. Getting a nice core workout, working out the abs.
Did Landon Jordan just find one? He might have just found a bit of room there, because it looks like there has been someone knocked down from Globochem. Revive's still available, but the pressure comes back in. It's definitely him who made contact there. So pulling the attention slightly towards that northern side, and maybe the players towards that eastern could possibly get some pressure going if they get that comm right, if they get the communication right. They try and make that play happen, but Landon Jordan's in a bit of a pickle if he doesn't find a bit of cover soon. There's a lot of eyes turning his way.
Oh, he's playing this very fast, a little too fast. Gets tagged, and here comes the push from SMC Tactical. 2-2 now. 2 reses up for Globochem, but they can't afford to go for him. Toast here holding a very tight angle. If Toast gets picked, this could be very bad. They have one very far west. We'll see what they can do here. Toast going to get aggressive.
Toast. He's actually going to push this one. The fire comes in, so there's no idea in the back lines. Toast comes around. Excellent work from him, defining that advantage for Globochem, leaving it in a 2v1.
And he was camping in that corner for a long time. He was waiting for that angle to happen. Huni hears him now. Doesn't get the shots. Toast right underneath him, pops up and tags him on the stairs. Globochem coming away with 3-1 now. And they've won some Yeah, this will be. They've won some Marsoc rounds, which makes it difficult to defend. It makes it harder as SMC Tactical to. You're going to have to win a Marsoc round against Globochem, and that's going to be a real challenge if you want to win this map.
Wow, that was toast at the end from 0 to hero sort of play there. It was nothing and then everything. It was that very slow, holding the angle, very patient, very meticulous, and then just exploded on that aggressive play and then followed it up as well.
Yeah, patience is very important in this game. You might feel the pressure with a minute left, but if you can hold your angle that you know is going to work, you can be very successful with patience.
Well, so far so good for the favored side here. SMC showing that they do have some real bite to their bark as such. They certainly can compete, and considering this is the team that's come in as, I guess, the more wild card, if you want to put it that way. They've had roster issues, obviously their captain not here. They're still performing valiantly.
Yeah, and this SMC Tactical is playing very good against Globochem. At the same time, all of the potential nuances that Captain Soda has that he's doing in this round, they're all getting picked up by Mob Squad and beginners. So when they go, if they can't win this map, they're going to have to go up against the loser bracket, and they're going to play one of those teams.
Yeah, and as said, I've already seen one of the teams looking over footage, looking over film. So let's see if there's been any calls made at the start coming in from SMC. Looks pretty pre-planned. Oh, here we go.
This is going to be a fast objective. Globochem are very close. You're going to see a lot of smokes come up over that building. They're going to be landing right on top of objective. They're going to look for.
This is so close.
Mr. Beefy has potential to come in the backside and flank, though. They have one covering the flank, and the shots are coming out, tagging Beefy from the backside.
Yeah, already one going down for SMC here. It looks like Globochem are up for the fight, and Landon Jordan could be a huge swing factor. The smokes, the nades, they all get put up into the air. Landon Jordan now knows surely it's time to go. Look at that angle. He's holding the cross like an absolute champion. The three players now put on notice from Globochem.
And that was a nice little flash coming out from Landon to try and stop any push. It lands on Thunder. Thunder has to back up. Definitely slowing down maybe a fast-paced push, utilizing that smoke time. You only have so much time before it's gone.
This map that's normally so much range to it. This is great, though, coming back in from SMC, keeping player advantage.
Wow.
This is a 4v2. What the hell has gone on? Globochem just get punished for this aggression.
And Mix right there trying to get the res off on his teammate, but he couldn't push forward enough. He wants to know where his teammate died, and Landon's hiding behind in a perfect position, defending really nicely.
All right, Mix now looking around. He knows that there's so many threats available. There's so many angles he has to be worried about. There's 4 players against him that are up close. That's his own teammate. He's got to be so careful.
Kill. Shots through that ambulance. The ambulance is penetrable, and he gets traded by Thunder. Thunder is a guy that can run things back. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily SMC Tactical's game here. The 3-to-1 advantage does look good, but actually there's no one covering this street that Thunder's on. He's going to grab some ammo, grab some meds, put them back on,
Yep.
Kind of regroup himself and see if he can do something special here around this other side.
We've still got Landon Jordan being the man on the cross. He's been watching this angle the entire time. So Thunder Pilot surely knows that there was a threat here. But do they know exactly how close it was between these kind of 2 bollards? And he does get picked up indeed. It wasn't even Landon Jordan. The call was made, the support in good place, and the objective again safe and secure in the hands of SMC. And they do indeed rack up a round. It's a 3-2. This could still be up in the air for either side.
Yeah, absolutely. If SMC do something fancy, or now they know where the objective is actually, so they have sort of a little bit of an advantage in planning here. 30 seconds. What do we want to do? We want to use some smokes. We want to double smoke. You take a frag. You take a silencer. What's our plan? They might be able to construct something because that objective is one that is cappable. It's definitely something you can get around a corner. You can get inside that little hovel there and cap behind a wall. You get some good smokes out there. Yeah, it can be it can be a tough objective to hold.
Well, this is the big round, isn't it, really? You're at this position where you could potentially bring this all the way back. I mean...
Open up to another map on Bazaar, which is, in my opinion, anybody's game.
That's the 50-50, right? That was the leftover map, and this is the big one. This is SMC's chance to do something. Does it go 3-3, or will Globochem manage to pull this one off?
And they actually don't get that fast spawn that Globochem had. So we're going to see a bit of a slower paced round here. They're going to take their time from that crater approach, get that north advantage again, and probably try and do something similar that Globochem did in terms of converging down at the same time onto the objective.
Let's see how they approach this. Hear the comms coming through. Approaching quite quickly here as well, taking that northern side by storm, not really spending too much time. And Mr. Beefy, bit of a star player so far for this side.
Yeah, I think I saw some shots come out from Beefy as he crossed that street. That's big information for Globochem. They know that's crater spawn then, because you can't get to that location any other way. So I would anticipate a lot of the Globochem guys looking up towards the north side of the map, kind of focusing there.
This is a huge kind of anti-clockwise swing around the map so far. We've got that kind of 4-man hit squad with the linchpin of Mr. Beefy, I guess, in the back lines to a degree. They're still holding that middle ground. The 3-man hit squad as such, still working their way forward.
Yeah, they have not slowed down. They're not using any smokes to cross streets or anything like that. They're full sprinting to this location. There's only one guy covering this alleyway, so if they can manage to pick him, it opens up a really strong push for these guys.
Yeah, I wonder if Hooney's going to take the peek on the angle. He might be the one to work his way around. That could be the first real contact.
Yeah, Beefy here looking for something over here. Protecting from the flank, because as we saw earlier, Pants gets aggressive. He's going to go for that. He's going to try and shoot you in the back. They do not want that to happen again.
No, not in this round. This is their chance to fight back into this. 4 minutes and 20 on the board. Plenty of time to play with. And that creep around that northwestern side continues, getting towards that main street cross if they go any further, and you can see these angles being held. Who is it on the other side? Thunder Pilot holding it down. Not really expecting this angle. It might be someone else watching this. So far, it doesn't look like there's too many people keeping exact tabs on the push they're going for. So again, they could get caught off. But again, it's unlikely to see it spiral away. You can see him keeping check towards it. I'm wondering how close SMC are going to get before that real call is made.
Yeah, I think they're going to want to get up to that plane, which he's already there, that little dot on your map. He's already pushed up to it. Thunder has no idea that west approach is even happening, because he's pretty much stuck inside, looking down this road, looking for a cross, holding his angles. And this is when things are going to start to happen. Beefy is going to make his push south. They're going to try and maybe draw some fire here south, draw some angles, have people...
This is a nice bit of bait in a way. You're kind of just trying to display, hey, we're over here, guys.
One thing you typically see is a lot of tunnel vision in this game.
And look at the push. This is great timing, the bait and the push. Landon Jordan, though, making a lot of noise here. Thunder Pilot going to be aware, but where does the trade go? And it is Thunder Pilot who gets it. That's Globochem keeping members alive. That's a 5v4 now. So maybe that plan that was put into play has not worked out yet.
Yeah, the smoke's coming out here. That was a very well-timed play. They are converging in on it at the same time. They need to get this south member up a little bit faster. If he can get up there, he has some potential picks he can land, get some guys in the back, and that will open up some avenues for SMC Tactical to push on this objective. But this is an interesting defensive position from Globochem. Another going down for SMC.
Yeah, this is worrying times now. They're being picked apart, and it's quite sporadic. They're spread across the map. 3 players now to try and pull this together for them. Obviously, if Globochem do get to 4, that's job done. That's them good. And now the 5 players stand in SMC's way. You've got Soda still there, though. This guy's been good at these situations, able to turn things around, but got to find something big here. And you've got Pan standing in your way. This guy has been on point so far. Going to hear these steps.
He's prone
Look
there.
at this angle. So hard for Soda to deal with. If he crests this corner, breaches in, you know the Panther's going to get that, and he does. Confirmed, 2 players. Gets the call out to the teammates. Not afraid to make that one, and it's down to the last 2 members of SMC to try and make this count.
Yeah, Beefy's going to have to pull something out of his bag of tricks here on the south side. Kind of open up that avenue for the west approach, because Thunder's actually down now. He got a little aggressive, tried to rotate out of his defensive position, and now you can see some rotations from Globochem. They know that west approach is coming. Maybe they're not aware of the south, though. If these guys converge at the same time, there's some potential picks.
We'll see if Beefy can get anything. If you're going to see the hold coming in from this... Oh, he does get flanked, actually. Look at that on the back lines. Pants comes around. You know this guy likes to get aggressive, but now 1 man stands in their way. It's a 1v3.
A team kill.
Yeah,
Pants just got
went
team
down.
killed.
Where was the comms on that one? But still, the last man standing is Mr. Beefy. He needs to do it all for his side. This is a pressure moment if you're ever going to see one.
He has a minute 25. Otto's in a very good spot. He should see Beefy here against the wall, but maybe he can't see through that crack, and it's all that FOV. Otto has no idea. Beefy's going to put the smoke out, and this is going to alert Otto 100%. Actually, that's a frag. He's cooking it. And gets shot by Mix, but he backs up in time.
Where's Otto? Otto surely's going to swing out, and he does indeed. Globochem do win the round. Valiant attempt from SMC. You could see the planning there, but the flank from Pan, so many factors against them.
Yeah, really nice job from Globochem, pulling ahead for 2 maps, 4-2. A bit of what I expected out of them. They are the #1 seed for a reason, but SMC Tactical playing very well. I think they have a really good shot of putting up some really good rounds in the losers bracket.
I'm 100% with you on that. I think we've seen potential from these guys that I was surprised about. You can see the theory and practice. So I'm just hoping we see more of it. I think if anything, this is the perfect beginning to this sort of the day we're going to have it. We've got this day and the following day of this incredible action going on. But Globochem, I'm so impressed with. I love the way they played that. You could see the coordination, the teamwork, the chemistry that they seem to have with each other is really in practice here today.
Yeah, when you've played over 1,000 hours of a game with somebody, you kind of know their mannerisms, know what they do. Even though a team kill did come out towards the end of the round there, pulled in the favor of Globochem.
So many individual plays as well coming out from SMC that impressed me. I don't think you can take much away from them. They were really impressive in the way they approached it, but Globochem as a collective, I think that's the thing that surprised me. As a whole unit, they played such a great game. Yeah,
their communication is fantastic. They know where everybody is. They know how many they have down. They know who's alive. They know where they are. They're not afraid to communicate over giving up location, and it definitely pays off.
No, you saw that through and through in the way they approached that matchup, and I think we'll be seeing that going forward. I can't wait to see the other teams who've already looking over footage. I know they have been. I want to see how that now affects it going forward, if they have a better idea of Globochem. But again, these guys, they've shown so much ability and skill that, I mean, can you actually handle it? Even if you know what they're doing, it doesn't mean you can actually defeat it.
Yeah, it's up in the air. I think it's kind of maybe gives some other teams some confidence against Globochem.
Yep.
I would take these wins that SMC Tactical got and use them to your advantage. Use them to get yourself maybe a play that you saw, maybe an opening, and try and sneak one out from underneath Globochem.
I honestly wouldn't put it past these teams either. I think that if you're looking at that, you're exploiting weaknesses. You're looking at how did they succeed? How can we maybe work that into our playbook? But again, you can't change everything. You don't have all the time in the world. You got to go with what you've got. But I mean, if you learn any small factors, I'm sure you can find out a way to maybe exploit them. But it does look as though the interview is almost ready. They're handling it down on stage. So rather than staring at us two, it's been an absolute pleasure to cast that one, and we'll be casting later. But for now, let's hear from the teams themselves on the stage.
Thank you very much indeed. Now I've got Thunderpilot and Auto winning their first game of the day. And the first one I want to say is, how did you actually manage to win that series?
Well, I think we've been such a team, for so long that we know each other's play styles. We know how to work around each other. We always have a basic plan of what to do. But when we get in there, we really have to work around what they do. And I think we've been playing together so long that we just know each other. I know where everyone is. We're constantly communicating, and it just seals the deal for us every time.
And is there any players in that match who actually stood out for you?
Oh man, Toast, Pants, all of us. I think Otto's leadership, he's our team captain. It's funny because everybody on our team really contributes. There's nobody that really lacks, and so it's hard to say,
Yeah, I suppose there's just too many good situations happening at one time, I suppose. And with you, Auto, I was going to say, is there any strengths from that series which you'll bring to any of the further matches, especially in the winners' finals?
Wait, I'm sorry, can you ask again?
Yeah, sure. Is there any strengths in that series which you'll probably bring into the other matches?
Yeah, we'll definitely be bringing in our adaptive play. So we like to adapt to whatever the enemy is doing. We have a base plan, but we always adapt. That's our main thing that we do.
Yeah, it's always best to adapt in those kind of scenarios, isn't it? And then that's enough from us, so back to the desk.
Cheers, Lethal. I'm back here with Bowie and Radar. We've had a nice start to a good weekend of Onward here. Thanks also to Pansy and Nightfire. We'll be seeing more of them throughout the day as well. And Globochem. We'll be seeing more of them as they will now be in our winners bracket final. That'll be the last game that we do today. Whereas SMC Tactical, not dead yet, can be revived. We'll have them fight through the losers bracket, which will be our first game tomorrow from ESL UK here in Leicester. But 2-0 to Globochem, like most people would have predicted beforehand. But as Pansy was correctly saying there, if you're SMC, lots to take away and be positive and take that momentum forward into tomorrow. Yeah,
I mean, they showed they've got play in them. They showed that they are not to be underestimated. But Globochem showing the better team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one thing to note is that the last time these two faced off, it was 4-1, 4-1 for Globochem. So a 4-2, 4-2 is improvement, and definitely they've kind of managed to scrape back some plays for sure. I mean, Globochem went up to a very clean 2-0 lead in the early part of this second map. And then that's where a lot more pressure is on SMC to kind of really at least pull one at all, because then they have to play perfect from here on out.
We saw some great plays by Mr. Beefy in this, but what I feel like we saw a lack of leadership, because there we go, this play right here with Landon holding the line, keeping the dream alive.
Yeah, that was the start of a turnaround for SMC.
Yeah. But like I was saying, what we're seeing here is that on Suburbia you can get away with more just teamwork without much direction. On a map like Quarantine, as you know, Bowie, is that you have these situations where you need someone calling the shots.
Yeah.
And Sickness, the team captain, isn't here.
Yeah.
So what we saw in attack by SMC and in defense wasn't as cohesive and as adaptive like we saw in Globochem. Because Globochem had people calling the shots. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
We didn't have that in SMC. That was something they were lacking, was that adaptability. Which just wasn't there.
And that was mentioned obviously in the interview as well, how they really trust in Autos, to be able to lead the team forward. And I mean, we would sit there. I mean, I think we were thinking when we were watching that as well, we're going, well, they're getting really aggressive in game 3. They were on the offensive. They were 2-0 up. Or if they wanted to get an immediate 4-0 victory, they just had to go in there and do it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't sit there and criticize the major aggression coming out from that third game. And they even had the lead going towards the end. They slowed the game down so much. Considering, as I say, they got really aggressive. Sorry, they
that
slowed the
third
game
round
down.
took ages.
Yeah.
That third round, there was like no contact for, I don't know, 4 minutes or something like that. And Globochem made that brilliant cross across the road that SMC didn't see whatsoever. And then just kept walking around the map and walking around the map and went in from the north. But for ages, it took a really long time for them. They could freely move around. SMC didn't appear to be holding them back, really. It's not like they were suppressing them in areas and Globochem had to rethink. Why do you think it took them so long?
I mean, my immediate reaction to that would just be because they had to. I know it's not that they had to play in Globochem's favor, but when they are 2-0 down and they have to stop this, have to stop the uplink, otherwise it is over for them. I think that they are in a position where they need to, if they overextend and it completely goes against their favor, they're in. They can just lose more than the round in that scenario. That 2-point uplink is such a big difference in mentality.
It is, but the reason why I feel like why Globo took so long to get there is because as much as they know there's a defensive static position and they think they made the cross, they don't know that they're not being shut down. They don't know that SMC didn't move. They have to assume that SMC are repositioning to cut them off. They don't know that that's not the case, so they have to move in slowly. They have to assume that SMC are going to be on their flank. SMC stayed static. If they had the intel, I'm sure they would have moved in quicker and from more.
So is that a mistake from SMC then, that they actually weren't fully aware of what was going on? They just missed stuff.
I mean, even though SMC took the round, and it was a happy mistake because Globo assumed that SMC were flanking them, so Globo moved in much slower than they should have, and Globo ended up losing it because they were rushed for time, as you saw.
Yeah, I mean, you were mentioning as well kind of how that play kind of echoes a little bit to the way that beginning do with that kind of like slow down at the start, I mean, and they got a bit more aggressive towards the end, and it unfortunately kind of like fell through for them, and SMC took the round in the end, as we say. But there is that kind of like this kind of, as I say, echo to how other teams play, how they do have this slower start, and then once they're in position, everything's gone. It's like all no holds barred, clamp down.
What I really liked was Globochem liked to keep people unsettled. Okay, they had one really slow round, like you pointed out, and then they had that other round where they just charged straight in.
The beginning was shock and awe from the first round.
They got heavily punished though. They got heavily punished. And I think I do like that though. It keeps them honest, doesn't it? They had a long round, a really slow round, then they go, you know what, we've got this in the we have the advantage. Let's just barrel down and see what happens. And they got punished for it, but I do like.
You like them changing it up?
Yeah, the confidence to do that as well, just to kind of completely just change, the pace of the game.
Vader, you're not so sure?
No, I agree with you.
Oh, you do?
But what that actually showed was that Pwnecake did a nice flank on them then, because of that aggressiveness, which could have worked for them and could have just toppled over SMC and they could have just rolled over them. What actually happened was they got blunted. That spear attack they did got blunted. It gave Pwnecake a chance to flank down, knowing that almost all of Globochem are in that area. And he was able to flank down. And as Globochem realized they'd been shut down from that, they tried to rotate around, and Pwnecake was in a position to punish them for that aggressiveness.
Yeah, and then they just kind of like, in the end, just got boxed in, and I think there was we didn't quite see it at the main moment, but I think it was Thunder was alone, and he was kind of making his way out, and we had, I believe it was Landon who was waiting behind the boxes, who from the immediate spectator point of view was like, well, maybe he can't get the angle, but Sota in position on the side, catching them out right there and then.
But Globochem took it.
Yeah, 2-0. Here's the bracket then. First game of this weekend's tournament is in. And Globochem make their way to the winners bracket final. Remember, it's a double elimination tournament if you're not so familiar with that. One loss doesn't send SMC Tactical out. Instead, they drop down, as you can see on your screen, to the losers bracket. Next up, beginners will play Mob Squad. The winner of that will play against Globochem in our final match today, and the loser will face off against SMC Tactical. And the loser of that is done and will be fourth in our tournament. Do go to esl.im/donate and donate to the wonderful charitable work of Stack Up. If you donate more than $5, you will get entered into a draw to win a free Oculus Rift just the incredible VR technology that we're using here at the Onward Invitational. But any donation that you can give will, of course, be gratefully received by StackUp, and we'll tell you more about their amazing work next. This is the VR League Onward Invitational, brought to you by Intel. Don't go anywhere. We're only one game into this amazing weekend.